What is up, everybody? This is Braynoski here with the Inner Gamer, and I have sitting right here in front of me is none other than the PlayStation 5. As you can see, this is a gigantic box that I have right here. It is here in the flesh. It is very heavy, so I can't necessarily pick it up that well, but here you go. You got the box. Let's jump on in and see what this thing's all about. Well, I will say first off, when they say this thing is big, they aren't kidding, because there she is, folks. This is the PlayStation 5 in the flesh. Got the logo on the front. Right there, ready to go. The texture feels really nice on this thing. They say if you look very closely on the interior, you'll see little symbols of the cross, the circle, the square, all that jazz. And it looks very good. This is definitely quite the behemoth of a system. As you can see here, we have our, hang on, let me go there. There we go. So this is the physical edition, as you can tell. So we have the disk drive down over here. We have two ports in the front. One is USB-C for charging and power, and the other one is a regular USB port. Then we also have on the front here our buttons on the side, which if you look at it this way, there we go. Yeah, we got two buttons right here. And then on the top, we have a significant cooling system with these ventilations that there's air ducts all the way down this side, all the way down this side. This is definitely an interesting, the design is super interesting. Crazy sense of plastic. Like this is a lot thinner than I thought it would be up here, but it looks really good. I mean, just looking at it, it's a gorgeous looking console. It's just gigantic. Holy shit, this thing's heavy. I think it weighs in around 17 pounds, I believe. So there is that to take into consideration. Looking at it from the back here, you'll see we have some ports. We have our power cable. On that one side, we have an HDMI port, we have an Ethernet port, and two regular USBs. There's no USB-C on the back, only USBs. But we do have the LAN, we have the HDMI, and the power cable to plug in right there. So this is quite a hefty piece of machinery. It's got a very nice glossy wrap that goes around here on the front. One thing I didn't notice, actually, is the PlayStation logo it's cut out, it's engraved, so you can kind of see into the back of the system. But man, this thing is a beast. When people say this looks like a router, they were wrong, because a router is not this gigantic. This thing is huge. Holy shit. Definitely, if you stand this up next to your TV, it's gonna make your TV look tiny. But yeah, I mean, this looks awesome. The plastic up here at the top is a little flimsy, to be expected. I mean, it's just plastic, but it looks super sleek. I'm excited to turn this baby on and see the light come out the top. So very, very cool. Let me jump over to show you now the other component, which is the controllers and all the other things that come in the box. So we move this guy over here for a second, and I'm going to grab the other pieces. Also got this big box that came with it, which I know is going to contain our controller and some other components. So we have inside here, I have our power cable. One nice thing that's always been the case with PlayStation is there's no power brick like with the Xbox. You just have the console, which is gigantic, and you have this one plug. It's a 2-prong. Look at that. This is also kind of surprising to me. It's not even a 3-prong. There's no ground cable or ground component to it. That's the power cable. Pretty straightforward. We have our PlayStation manual. So definitely want to read that if you ever are interested, which likely won't, but it's there for you if you need it. We have the safety guide, so be safe. Make sure you wash your hands, all that good stuff. Then inside here we have, actually, let me pull this side up first, see what's over here. This is going to be our stand and our HDMI cable. Now, one thing I want to mention is that I have heard, this is definitely with Xbox too, but I'd imagine it's the case with them as well, is that the cable that you're provided, so this console is going to run 4K HDR. It's eventually going to have output capabilities of up to 8K. They've all but confirmed that will be the case with this console at some point in time once it becomes more of a thing. But this is supposed to be a high grade HDMI cable. So when you get your PlayStation and you plug it in, don't use your cheap HDMI cable that you got from, wherever you got it. Make sure you use the one that came with it, because I think that will give you the best performance, especially if you're plugging into a 4K HDR TV. So use the cable that it came with. We also have our stand, which is right here. This is our little plastic stand that will attach to the console either vertically or horizontally to allow it to sit flat. So this is a mandatory piece. Otherwise, the console kind of wobbles a little bit. So you definitely want to have this piece on there, which will mess with that in a little bit. And then I want to pull out the last most important piece, which is one that I haven't touched one of these yet. So you're going to experience this with me first and foremost, the controller. So we also have this guy right here. This is our USB to USB-C charging cable. Kind of surprised it's USB to USB-C. I figured it would be just USB-C to USB-C. But either way, it's there. So we have that ability. And here is the opening of the DualSense Controller. Oh my gosh. There it is. In the flesh. You can see that right there. Move it right here. There we go. We have our DualSense Controller. This is the new DualSense, provided by none other than PlayStation, Sony. Wireless controller, fully wireless. See the back here? There's literally nothing on the back except for your triggers. So we have our triggers up here, buttons up here, which the buttons are a lot thicker than they are on the previous controller. USB-C charging cable right there. We still, of course, have our plug for auxiliary if we want to plug in a mic. But one thing that this console has that's really interesting is it's got a built-in microphone. So you don't have to have a microphone. You can just use this and talk to it and it'll work. And it looks like there might also be a little button here for muting the mic without having to go into the settings, which is super nice. We have on here as well our buttons, which this time around, they don't have colors on them. They're just the shapes. They have a nice kind of like clear look to them. And it looks as if, yeah, this is interesting. The letters or the shapes are not on they're not inside the button. They're actually on top of this plastic, this clear plastic. So they kind of float on the button a little bit. And then we have our arrows on the side. Two things that they've added to this is we have our standard, this is our menu button right here on the top right, which we're pretty used to. Touchpad is still a thing that exists. It's still going to be swipeable. There is no texture on it, though, which I thought is a unique choice because the other one had a very clear texture to it. This one, it was rubber, actually. This is a plastic button up here at the top, so that's a little bit different than what I'm used to. The feel of the controller is good. Like, I don't have any issues with it right now. I mean, it feels like it holds together nicely. It's a little bit heavier. Definitely has a bit more presence to it, which I think will be good for people, as they're holding on to it, especially if you have bigger hands. I think this will be useful. We also have our new share button, which is a little bit more advanced, I believe. That'll be used for capturing inside the game. So we'll definitely dive into that at a later date. But this is cool. I mean, we got a new controller. It's got some texture to it. So the other thing that's kind of cool about this too is the front. There's two pieces here. There's it's basically like two pieces that come together on the top and the bottom. The top piece is a smooth piece of plastic. But the bottom, if you look super close, there is the same texture that's on the PlayStation that's also on this controller. So it is our cross, our circle, our triangle, and all that stuff. That's like just a super tiny pattern that exists on this controller. And I think it goes from, it's actually a grip kind of for the arms of the controller, but it doesn't exist on the back. So it's only here on these pieces here, and then it kind of fades into soft. So that's an interesting design, but looks awesome. I mean, check that out. PlayStation 5 controller. And then we also got this gigantic behemoth of a console, the PlayStation 5 right there, all ready to go. Let's figure out how to put this little stand on. because that's what I'm going to need when I plug it into the television. Connected. Down the back. Oh, I gotta move it over a little bit. They do have it indicated on here that there are some shapes, the PlayStation shapes that are on here that tell you need to put the little nubs here on the 2 squares inside. So that'll be where you place this in. Got that in place. Now flip this guy around, set it down, and voila. We have liftoff, my friends. This is shocking how just like crazy the shape of this thing is. Like it doesn't, the base of it keeps it off the ground. The whole entire bottom of it stays off the ground. So as you'll see here, that base will ultimately elevate the bottom of it. I'm assuming probably for airflow purposes. Yeah, this is going to look interesting underneath my TV console. I don't know how it's going to fit. We're probably going to have to do some finagling, but there you have it, everybody. That is the PlayStation 5 unboxing. Tune into our podcast where we will talk a lot about this PlayStation, I'm sure, because there's a boatload of games that are going to be out to play. We have Spider-Man Miles Morales. We have Godfall. We have Bugsnax that came out. We have Demon Souls, which I know some of us are going to be playing, which looks amazing. It's beautiful. I'm not going to play it because I suck at it, but it's there. We have some older games that are on PS4 now. So if you have PlayStation 5, even if you have PS4 actually, and you're a PlayStation Plus member, you're going to get 20-ish games that were on PlayStation 4. Top-notch games like The Last of Us, Bloodborne, Monster Hunter World. We have Persona 5, a bunch of games like that, all included free with the new system. So that's really awesome. And you can play those right out of the box with upgraded graphics and frame rates, 60 frames per second, likely across the board. We also have Assassin's Creed Valhalla that just came out, Watch Dogs Legion. There's a lot to play, and it's going to continue to get better as time goes on. So excited to talk about this. Make sure you tune in our podcast that we have every single Tuesday. Just look for The Inner Gamer on your favorite podcast app. Make sure if you haven't yet that you like, subscribe, and bang that bell for our videos so you can get more videos like this as they come out. And if you do want to see more videos like this, let us know in the comments below. We'd happily do that. We may do an Xbox Series X unboxing video if we can get our hands on one. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. And until next time, play has no limits.